now through gate 85.
I decided to change my whole life and move to Japan alone. This is only my second time ever coming to Japan, so moving here is kind of a big deal. I hope you'll join me in my first week as I get settled into my new place and figure out what kind of challenges are awaiting for me. So my first day kind of just involved going to the airport, back and forth, picking up my SIM card, and then traveling into my share house. So unfortunately when I moved in, there was a bit of an issue with the lock situation, but it's now sorted now. Thankfully I have a functioning lock. The thing I was most excited to check out about this share house is the sewing studio. That's right, this share house has a sewing studio. It also has a pottery room and a woodworking space, but I'll give you guys like a proper tour once I'm a bit more settled into the house. So one of the first things I did was I had to immediately try and figure out a laptop charger because mine wasn't working from Australia. After that, I decided it was time to hunt down a fabric store. So I went to Shinjuku and had a look around at the different shops. A lot of what I did in this first week was fabric shopping and not really like buying anything, but more just checking out what kind of materials are available to me here as I'm going to be sewing as my main job to support myself. I'm self-employed now in Tokyo. But man, I was just blown away about how much there was in person to be able to buy. I just got back from Shinjuku from meeting staff. We went and got a drink at Starbucks together. The only thing that I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to set up my bed so that I can sleep, but I haven't set up anything else in the room. It is still a blank, empty space, but I want to do that with you tomorrow, I think, when I have a bit more energy to like set up the room. While I was at Kia, I really wanted to pick up a lamp, but I was a little bit short on time, and I was also thinking carrying the comforter and the pillow and the sheets like was enough for one trip. I'm gonna have to do like a few trips to get everything back. So for now, make myself a bed and sleep in it. Oh, what a good first day in Japan. So I took myself to IKEA to pick up these sheets because the share house was going to charge me like $180 to get the sheets, but instead I just like thought I'd save some money and get my own. But here's what my room is looking like at the moment. It's quite bare bones. I don't know how much I'll be able to like add into it since I'm only here for 3 months, I think, but we'll see how things go. I was really excited to, of course, visit the convenience store to pick up some food. I then swapped to groceries, don't worry. So just my first few days, I was living off convenience store food just because it was exciting to be there. I love the bananas. I don't know why. They're just like always so much better than Australian bananas. And I accidentally spilled like curry on one of my 1,000 yen notes. But I was pretty fast to catch up with ADEN. I'm really happy that we got to hang out. They were celebrating a fictional character's birthday. And then it was time for another fabric store. Okay, this one blew my mind. Guys, Odaiba in Shinjuku does not mess around. I got a recommendation from a friend to go here, and man, they had so many beautiful fabrics. So many like great dance style fabrics, which is what I'll be using a lot. But they have 2 floors actually, which is really fantastic. So if you're looking for more natural fibers, they do have that as well, but I was more looking for their dance fabric range, man. I spent a long time here and I got very overwhelmed and I nearly cried because it makes me so happy to know that I have access to these materials now. So cool. So my current plan is to try and support myself through doing commissions and also making original designs. So I've set up a little website, but I really need to spend some more time on it before it's kind of ready for me to list some things for sale. But another important thing I needed to check was that the machines in the sewing studio were actually working, and they took a bit of getting used to. They're definitely not the same model as what I had at home, but unfortunately I couldn't bring my sewing machine because of the power difference. Another big reason I chose this share house is because of the area that it was in. It's actually one of the rare green areas in Tokyo, so luckily I can take myself for a nice walk and get in some nature every morning, and it's just so relaxing. It's a really great way to start the day, I find, to just go out, have a little walk, and then it was time for more fabric shopping. You guessed it. This time I wanted to go to Nakano Broadway, and then that day I got to go and catch up with some family, and we ended up going to Odaiba because we wanted to see the giant Gundam do its little transformation show thingy, but oh my god, low-key, not worth it. It was like 10 seconds long, but Odaiba itself is really pretty. I didn't know there was a Statue of Liberty there, but oh, there you go. Really gorgeous. There were already some cherry blossom swimming, and there was this really cool like retro arcade there as well. So we stopped for dinner, we tried Sukemen, which was really good. I really want to try it again. And then already, oh my gosh, another day. The days are just flying past, aren't they? It hasn't really sunk in that I live here now. It still feels like I'm on a holiday, but I really know that I have to be careful with money because I'm not spending it like you would on a holiday, which means I have to resist buying so many cute things, but at least I can enjoy eating out every day because it's quite affordable compared to Australia. I want to be conscious though of how much I'm spending because now that I'm self-employed, I'm trying to figure out a good system of how I can kind of get by while making things, while traveling, while living in Japan. It's a bit of a balance, but I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna figure it out. Look how cheap the groceries were. I got all this for like 21 Australian dollars. Here's the kimono that I picked up from Nakano Broadway the other day, which I will be upcycling and selling on my store, and I'm also gonna make a tutorial for my lovely patrons who will have also early access to this video. So thank you so much if you support me on Patreon. You are helping me survive here in Tokyo, and I'm very, very grateful for you. I took myself to Sukiya for dinner, and then the next day already, curry again. I am obsessed with CoCo Ichibanya. Today is the big sewing day. I went to Nippori Fabric Town, and I couldn't film in many of the stores unfortunately because they do have a no filming policy, but man was I overwhelmed. I had to take myself on a long walk after seeing all of the fabric and materials at Nippori. I ended up walking to Ueno Park, and that's where I saw this wood horn. A horn, very obvious. I thought it was funny, but I got to see so many cherry blossoms on my walk. It was such good weather, the sun was out, so I thought let's make the most of the day and go for a wander. I ended up then going to Daiso as well, and I picked up a lovely mug and some household goods because it's so cheap. And then I headed home. Now for a paperwork day. I had to go to my city ward to do my health insurance, but it was very boring and I didn't film anything. So yesterday I got to catch up with Eloise, who I met at Art to Play in France last year, and I can't believe we were so lucky that she was on a Japan trip for a honeymoon and we got to hang out. What a crazy first week in Japan, but I can't wait to explore more, so I'll see you next time. Bye!